Hello.
Hello, future
Hi, everyone.
We're so glad you guys are here today. We have a full house today, which I'm very, very excited about. Woohoo. Yeah, so welcome everybody. We're so glad. We've got like comments. People are coming in. Oh my gosh. Cat Mosher says, am I first? Yes, you are. You win the prize.
Hi, Kat.
That is totally awesome. BC Brown is second. Woohoo! Rosalind is third. Stephen Whelan is fourth. Dana says she's coming in sixth, but actually you're fifth. Good job. Very nice. And Misha, lucky number 7. So awesome. Thanks so much,
Misha.
Guys. So I am, well, first we should introduce everybody. Hi, happy Camp Nano. I hope everybody is going super well. How are you guys? How's the writing and the various projects going for you guys? Well, first we should.
It's going very good. I'm having
a good time. How about everybody in the comments? How's your Camp Nano going?
It's going quite well, actually.
Yeah. All right. Good.
It's been a lot of like rearrangement of what my original goals were for it. So it started like I originally was trying to have all the art for my 5th Forever Home Friends book done by end of June. So that I didn't finish it though. So now my goal is to finish it all by the end of July, and then also to finish like formatting and editing and cover and everything else for my business book. So I've had those 2 goals. So I'm not really writing a novel this month. It turns out I am working on those other parts of those other 2 projects.
Well, I think one of the cool things about Camp Nano is that you don't necessarily have to be working on a book, that you can really set goals for other, sort of writing related projects. So I think, I think, doing illustrations and finishing your business book, I think those are, fantastic Camp Nano projects. So DAL is here with us today. DAL, what are you working on for Camp Nano?
I have very weird goals, actually, because I'm not writing either, but I am editing the book as usual. Like, DAL is always editing that book. How long is it going to take you, DAL? Yeah, it's going to take forever because blindness, and also because I didn't know how to fix things until I started genuinely and humbly asking, hey guys, I really don't know what I'm doing. Can someone help me? And so I started asking for feedback and advice, and now I have a clearer idea of what I have to do to fix this. So I've been working on it, and since I have fixed as much as I could the first 3 chapters of the book, I queried that thing again. Oh my god, I queried. And that's why I'm here today, because yesterday I was querying and I had a nervous breakdown, and I was like, you know what, today I need to chill, and today I need I need some support. So I'm going to be on streams all day, starting now, and then my own, and then Savy's, and then, so...
And anybody else another goal, on Wednesday stream, right?
Yeah. And another goal, just quickly saying, I have been working on my authortube brand expansion. So I'm not going to talk too much about that.
That's exciting.
You guys know, you guys know Savvy and Robert, and probably, I don't know, but Savvy and Robert, you guys are the clearest examples of niche combo on authortube. So I was like, I want to do that too. And so I've been working on brand expansion. So that's my other Camp Nano goal.
That's fantastic. I love it.
Very cool.
Also, I love that Story Detective and Savvy are like inspiration for combining.
I'm honored.
Right.
Especially because half the time I'm worried that like my combo of things is making my channel too chaotic and people are going to get confused, but who knows?
Robert, what do you feel about that?
I was a little worried at first because I had people saying, don't do this, don't do that. And then I thought, you know what, if there's a correlation at all and it's part of me, it's going to go in there, because doing it for
Yeah, I think there's some real truth to that. I have a little I'm not doing like a full-on brand expansion. I'm still, writing advice and publishing tips. But I decided a couple of weeks ago to do a giveaway of a book that I read that I really like, Beach Read. And so I thought, I'll just post a quickie little video and review over on the YouTube channel. And it went fine. And so I thought, and it was so fun, like with my people on my Instagram, that I thought, oh, I think I'm going to do this all summer. Like, because those are the kinds of books that make you laugh and sort of, for me at least, kind of take me out of the reality of what's going on in the world. And I kind of felt like I wanted to do that over the summer. So am I going to start doing book reviews? No. But am I going to do little quickie book, 3-minute book reviews and a giveaway this summer? Yes, I am. So I think it's okay.
But Lisa, that's the counterpart. Lisa, you, Carrow, and Michelle, from what I've seen. So we have the two different aspects. Like, we have the people who have a niche combo, and then you have Carrow, who's super knowledgeable, and I'm still intimidated to be in the same screen with Carrow. I love you, Carrow. I'm your fan.
Carrow.
And Lisa and Michelle. So you have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience on everything that's writing advice and publishing advice and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't have that knowledge. I don't have the experience, but I have a YouTube channel, so I have to do something about it. So that's why I'm doing a niche combo, because I have to take a different approach than, say, people with a lot of experience like you.
Well, I love your videos. I think you have like your personality drives so much of your brand, and the great thing about that is that you are always going to be you. And so you're able to sort of expand or bring things, tighter, more niche, sort of as your interest changes. So I think that's cool. I'm really excited to see where your channel goes. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to say hi to some of our fabulous people who are hanging out in the comments, and then we will go around and do some quick intros. But I want you guys to, I don't know if you guys have seen Michelle's new video that she just posted, which was a Dear Publishing video. And there's a link to it in the comments. For once, it's actually there before we start the live stream. So, she really just does, here are the 9 things. Was it 9? It was a lot.
I think 10.
10. Here are the 10 things.
There's so many more.
10 fabulous things to talk about. Yes.
Yeah.
I was just like, my eyes got bigger as you kept going. I was like, oh man, she's going all the way in. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Michelle laid it all out there. So definitely you guys want to check out that video. And that is what we're going to be talking about, is publishing, being like at a traditional publishing, being at a crossroads, all the crappy stuff they've been doing to their authors forever, and whether or not we think they're going to change. So, yeah. All right. So let's say hi to everybody. We are so excited. You guys are all here. You guys are awesome. Better Days are here. Says, I'm last. You're not. Eva's here. Because now I'm last. We can just go through the whole thing all day. Sky's here. Hello, Sky. We're so glad you're here today. Sylvia says, I don't know what number we're on. That's okay. I think we can stop counting. We're good. Kat says, you're like the 11th. You're so good. Oh my gosh. Sarah's here. Hi, Sarah. We're so glad you made it today.
Hi, Sarah.
Debbie's here. I love the hair on the avatar. Right? I feel like I want to do that.
She always changes it depending on where she is in her comic. I always like that.
I know. I do too. I love it. I love it. It's awesome. All right. She says, thanks. Eva Writes is here. Megan's here. Georgie's here. Hi, Georgie. We're so glad you made it today. All right. Joanne is here. Hello, Joanne. Misha's here. Hey, Misha. We're so glad you made it. Misha is behind, but slowly catching up. All right. I don't know if it says it later down in the comments. What are you behind on? Your Nano project or just life? Who's behind on life this week? That would be me. Yeah. So awesome. You guys are so great. I'm super happy to see everybody here. So I'm going to take some more comments, but before we get 75 minutes into the stream, let's introduce our exciting and illustrious panel. So Carrow, we'll start with you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carrow Brown. I have not finished this cup of coffee yet, but I'm working on it. That's why I'm kind of like slowly blinking at the camera. I wrote this book right here. You can find it on Amazon if you are interested in it. And if you're not, that's totally fine. I'm actually here today to
It's a great book.
Thanks,
It
friend.
is a great book. Wait, can we interrupt? It's a great book. You should be interested in this book because we are all here interested in great books. It is a fantastic book. All right, continue, please, Carol. Go ahead.
I'm actually going to be working on my newsletter because I went in to go draft it, and then I realized that last month's newsletter never went out. So now I'm just kind of going in there and fiddling with it and like questioning why my provider didn't send out my newsletter. But that's why I'm behind on life today. It's all great.
All right, Michelle, tell us all about you and your channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm a middle grade and young adult author. My channel is writing workshops and publishing advice, and I won't say that I'm, what did you call it, Doll? Like branching out and doing dual niches? That's not the right word. But
we were like more like stay in a like it's more of a single lane.
Yeah, I don't know if this quite counts, but I do feel like I might want to start getting into
brand
more
expansion?
like vlogging. Yeah, that's what you use. But like vlogging writing experiences, because I've been watching a lot of those during Camp Nano, and they're just so, why are they so addictive? Why do I like watching people type?
We like to watch them suffer too, because they'll start sitting there and be kind of like, I don't understand the scene. My characters aren't talking to me. Like, oh my god, somebody understands. Like,
yes, exactly. It's so I don't know. Vlogging seems really hard to me for some reason. Like harder to do than like the straight ahead, I'm talking to the camera and giving it advice kind of video. But
you have to remember to vlog yourself. You have to be like, hey guys, here I am. Like, I forget all the time.
Right. Yeah. But it's something I'm just enjoying the hell out of everybody's Camp Nano videos. It's been really great so far.
That's cool. That's super cool. Robert, tell us all about you and your awesome channel.
My channel is The Story Detective. I've been an artist and a writer my entire life, and I analyze everything story-oriented. I also do tech reviews and collectible reviews.
Yeah. Savvy, tell us about you and your channel.
Hey everyone, I'm Savvy from SAVY Writes Books. On my channel, we talk about life as a small business owner. I am the owner of the business Forever Home Friends, which produces books and stuffed animals based on real rescue dogs. And I am also a young adult and new adult author. So on my channel, we talk about author life, small business owner life, and the whole like entrepreneurship hustle culture that's out there, and how there are a ton of scammers trying to take advantage of that. So we're actually a very dramatic, snarky channel as well. So come visit Savvy Writes Books. Every Wednesday night also. So tonight we host the authortube sleepover live stream. So Dom's on that, Lisa's on that, a bunch of us, and we have a fun sleepover party and get our writing done. And this week I made it camping themed because it's so I put little tents on the thumbnail.
Nice, very nice. Love that. That's really awesome. Well, I'm Lisa Daly. I'm a traditionally published author, and this is my channel. And on my channel, we talk about writing and publishing advice and how to write a book you're proud of and get it published. So, speaking of publishing, all right, let's check in with some comments, you guys. I want to know what you're working on, so send those over. And then we're going to talk a little bit about publishing, because Michelle did like a really powerful video yesterday.
It was
before I saw it yesterday. That doesn't mean that it didn't exist before that. When did you post it?
It went up Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Well, 2 days late. That's all right. I'm the worst. All right. I think YouTube hates me. My notifications never come on. It's always a miracle. All right. Okay, here we go. So Eva says, I am so far behind, but only in word count. Feeling better about the project today than yesterday. Yay. I'm so super glad to hear that. Kat says, I obviously couldn't be productive this morning. Exhibit A, I only wrote 198 words my entire stream.
Hey.
What are you doing on yourself, Kat? It's hard to write and manage, everything else.
But
right?
Kat is organizing a whole writing marathon. So you were productive, not just not in the writerly way that you were expecting. But hey, Kat is organizing a whole day marathon on July 24th. So it's a Friday.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
And so yeah, if you're interested, she posted on the AuthorTubers group.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. All right, so we will, Doll, if you have the link to that, will you send that to me in the chat, and we'll go ahead and post that in the comments too below. So,
Yeah.
awesome. All right,
It's in the authortubers group, but I will find it.
bless you. I can do it, but I would be, well, it's okay. I'll do it. Don't worry about it.
Let me see how I can send you that.
It's okay. I'll just have to wait till the 20-minute sprint because I probably won't have time in the 5. Megan is ahead. Yay! That is awesome. Hoping to get even farther ahead. Ooh, I hope you do too. Fingers crossed. That's fantastic.
Good
Sarah's
someone
doing pretty. Yeah. Sarah's doing well. Monday was great. Yesterday was a disaster. I feel ya. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday was a disaster. Thank goodness today is a fresh and shiny new day. So let's get going. All right. Hey, everybody. We're so glad you're here. Eva says, I think this is about your brand expansion. Eva says, exciting, doll.
It is.
It is. We're super excited. That's very cool. CO Savvy's here. Yay.
Yeah. Thank
Hi,
you.
Billy Brown, doll, Detective Schusterman. Nice. I like it. It gets more complicated when we have more people, but CO Savvy always delivers. Very nice. Eva says, I love when people say, don't do this. It gives me something to research and decide for myself. All right, show of hands. If someone says you can't do that, it can't be done, you will try to do it. No,
Yeah.
No, it depends.
It depends on the thing.
Yes.
What it is.
Yes.
Right.
Certain things I feel like I would be like, oh, if that can't be done, why would I try to invest so much time into trying to make it happen if it's not that much of a priority? So it really depends on the thing and how much it matters.
It depends on who's telling me to.
Too.
And how credible that person is. So, for example, like if I wanted to do something like, I don't know, like tech-wise, and then Robert came to me and said, hey, you know, that's not possible because of X, Y, and Z, and these things right here, I'd be like, oh, bro did his research. Okay, totally cool. However, if D-Bag down the thing came over and said, you can't do that because you can't do that, I'd be like, well, F you, watch me go and do it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Basic
That's
strategy.
true.
I will say I've had a lot of fantastic things that have happened to me and that I have done in my life because because people go, oh, you can't do that, or you can't do it that way, because I love a good challenge. So I had some good stuff happen. And I think sometimes people just say that because they don't know anybody who's done that, but it's not necessarily that it can't be done. I don't know.
Well, some people are jaded too, and you find that a lot, like in a lot of service positions, like teaching and stuff like that. And so if they're jaded and experienced, when you try and do something, they just like, sometimes I think that they think they're doing you a favor, but other times it's just, they're just being disgruntled. So kind of depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
I think that is true. I think that's very true. All right. Sylvia says, hi, Rosalind. Yay. Sylvia from Write Your Life is here. We're so glad to see you. Uh-oh. Okay. So Dana says, that's so weird. It didn't go live until now. I don't know when that hers came up at 11:05. We went live at like 11 o'clock, maybe 11:01. But I think it was like 11. Huh, that's weird. I hope it went live for everybody. All right, Tina's here. Hey, Tina. Hello. Today. Eva says,
nice to meet you.
That separates you as traditional publication experience in the industry. Michelle and I, we're like, I do it like diagonally. I'll never figure it out. We're niche sisters.
I think Lisa should talk about on your channel. I think you should talk about your experience being on TV.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like that would be interesting.
agree.
A lot of us on AuthorTube, I mean, we're on YouTube, so sometimes if we're, with the HDMI, we're on somebody's TV, but you've been on like broadcast TV. So I think that you should talk about that experience because, I don't know, I was on the radio once and I did a video about that and it was fun, but I'd love to hear more in-depth like knowledge about how you got on TV and what you did on your show.
Yeah, thank you. I actually have that on my list of stuff to do because I have done like 3,000 interviews, which is a lot.
That's amazing. You need to share this wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, and And I'm a regular, I'm like, I do this national TV show every week, and then, although it's been from Skype the last couple of weeks, so that's been weird. And then I'm also a regular, weirdly enough, on this Talk Sport, the Two Mics show, which is like the biggest sports show in the entire UK.
Mike and Mike on ESPN?
No, the Two Mics on Talk Sport, which is basically the UK's ESPN. But it's it's a massive show, and I'm always shocked because it's not my normal audience, but they keep having me back, and they're hilarious. And the really funny thing is, half the time I do not know what they're saying because they have like super thick Cockney accents, and so I can't. That's not terrible what I just said, right?
No, you're fine. No,
I don't think so.
You're fine.
I just realized, like, ooh, am I not allowed to say that?
You are.
Thank you, Carol. Who lives in England.
No, there's people in England who even struggle with that accent.
You're doing fine.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's hilarious because they'll be talking, and I'll get the first part, and I'll get the end, but I don't really know what they said in the middle, and yet we're on live radio, so I have to say something. So that
I don't know what they're saying either. Don't worry.
All right, Kat says YouTube's weird. Sometimes I have to refresh.
And the dog agrees.
Yeah,
The dog
is like, yes, Lisa, talk about your TV experience. I want to hear more.
I will totally do that. Thank you for asking that. CO Savvy says Camp Nano was bleh initially, but I got my outline finished thanks to Carol, my lucky charm, since I started it on her stream yesterday. Carol, she's our lucky charm too. Awesome.
Oh, you're all screwed.
All right, you guys. So here we go. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to do our 5-minute warm up because we are 20 minutes in and we have not done anything. We haven't done any work yet. So let's get our 5-minute sprint going. And then we will come back and we're going to talk about torching publishing. No, it's not that. We're talking about some areas for improvement. And yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Hit it, everybody. All right. Let me unmute everybody unmute everybody that I muted. Oop, including Michelle. All right. All right, you guys. Welcome back. How did everybody do in the 5-minute warm-up? I did want to just leave a note. Kat, I left you, I made you a moderator. So if you want to post that link to your, oh, here she is. She responded already. Okay, so yeah, so I want to, I'll add the link down in the description as soon as she's got that going on. I'll just keep an eye out for that in the authortube Facebook group. Hey, welcome back, everybody. How was the warm-up? Good, I hope.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah? Cool. All right. Good. What are you guys all working on? What?
Oh, you're lagging. That's wonderful.
No.
I'm on my phone, so there's always going to be internet lag.
Oh my god, we're all lagging. This is exciting.
Oh no.
That's not good. That's not good at all. Okay, well, we'll just try to like slowly make this happen. All right, you guys. So I just saw this. Cat said, crap, I was supposed to vlog yesterday and Monday and I forgot. I think that we all, yeah, I think we've got that. So, yeah, so what we were going to talk about today, you guys tell us how you did, what you're working on. And while we're doing that, I want to get into this video where Michelle talked about many of the really big problems that were, that are happening and have been happening for a long time in traditional publishing. So do you want to give us sort of a recap of the worst offenses?
Well, obviously this is stuff that it was all things that I've been griping about like in personal conversations for years, but really that the whole publishing paid me hashtag on Twitter, just like I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was like, yeah, you know, if I don't make a video about this, I don't know, it's just going to eat away at me. So yeah, the fact that there is no formula for coming up with advances for authors. Period. Right. And this isn't even like speculation, like it's acknowledged. And so when you have something like the cases we saw in Publishing Paid Me, where, for example, N.K. Jemisin, I will never get over this, is just paid like a fraction of the advance of equally successful and award-winning and lauded white authors.
Other books.
There's no reason other than racism. It doesn't make any sense.
Like there's this one guy that came out with a book. He got paid $800,000 and his book is garbage. I read it. It's garbage. And for some reason, Amazon decided to put it in women's, it's called divorced women's fiction. And I was like, why is that a genre?
What? Oh my God, what?
Minded is also actually in divorced women's fiction. And I'm like, what the heck? Like,
why is that a genre?
Oh my goodness. And it's not like, oh, the character is divorced. It's just for divorced women. I don't know.
What confused me. I read the synopsis. There was no divorce in there. It was like, hey, they're on their honeymoon. I was like, honeymoon, divorced women's fiction. Somebody help me.
I don't know. I don't get it.
No, my question is, why it doesn't exist like a divorced men fiction? Why do we have to put? Like, yeah, I mean, but why do we have to make it like women's fiction, divorced women's fiction?
Yo, this is a funny conversation right now, because as we're talking, I am currently writing the email to send out the first offer for publication from the publisher that I just started working for.
Hey.
So, fun times.
That is fun.
Like we don't even do advances, so yeah, different game.
And there's some people who don't do advances too. So, for example, the author who wrote Beniti, they offered her a royalty advance, and she said, "No, I don't want it." And her book took off because instead of getting an advance, she said, "I want higher royalties." Sister is swimming in money right now.
Yeah,
smart move.
Well,
Right.
I think that's this is like when if you're working for a company and they don't come up to the salary that you want, you can often get them to give you like more vacation time or other perks. And I think that especially with smaller publishers, they are often willing to work with you because if your book doesn't, it only impacts them if your book takes off. And if your book takes off, they are also going to be making more money. But if your book doesn't take off, they're out less. Now the conventional wisdom is that if they don't invest some cash up front, that they're not going to spend as much energy promoting the book and trying to get it out there. But as Michelle said so helpfully in her video, they don't necessarily do a lot of that anyway.
No, the reserve against returns policy, it's garbage. Now, I'll be totally honest. I mean, I literally have never earned out in advance. It is so hard to earn out advances, and I've never ever gotten the marketing support I needed to even come close to earning out. However, I have friends who have earned out. I have one friend in particular who has got a very modest advance and right out of the gate earned it out. Like, I think her first royalty statement, what she was technically due was 150% of her advance. And which is amazing, but she didn't see it for years, and it was paid out in like a trickle, and they couldn't even tell her when they would be sending her the money. So it's like, truly, what's the point of taking the small advance, or of saying that this is a benefit, like this is why you should go with us instead of HarperCollins, because they're going to throw 80 grand at you, but then they're not going to do shit for you. And that's true. But you know what? I'd rather take the 80 grand if you're just going to sit on my royalties forever. Like, I don't know.
Years until you see it. Well, one of the things that you talked about that I wanted to talk to you about was this. It's an old policy where they pay your advance in 3 installments. So say you get an $80,000 advance or a $10,000 advance. They will pay you on signing of the contract, and you should know it literally takes months for that, even though the contract is exactly the same every time. It's very boilerplate across all the publishers, and then the negotiation.
If you can read the freaking contract either, I have my publishing contract. I had to take it to a lawyer, and I was like, I need you to explain this to me because this I'm a wordsmith, and I don't even know what's being said here, right? And then of course I pissed off my publisher because when I sent it back, I was like, you have to remove that clause, and that's going to get changed, and that's fucking not happening here.
They don't
Michelle
like
talked about that in the video.
They won't do, and then there are a lot of things in there where I think they're still in there just because then they can feel like then you can feel like you've won something.
Right.
Basically, the things that they're willing to give up, and one of the things you talked about was how they pay out the advances, right? So you get the first third when you sign the contract, which takes a couple months to get the contract. You get the second third when they accept it for publication. So
meaning it's going into copy edits. So not the first draft, but all the way through revisions, and they send it it goes from the editorial department to the managing ed department. That's that release of payment there.
Right.
And then the third one is sometimes it's on publication date.
Yeah.
But I've had it other ways too. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will say that is one of the things that they are willing to give up. I've only had one contract that was like that, and now all my contracts, my advance is split in 2, half on signing and half on acceptance.
Yeah. And what I want them to do is to commit to dates, because it's still at their whim. When am I going to get the contract? The longest I ever waited for a contract was 9 freaking months.
That's insane.
9 months.
Publishers, right? And so our contracts are probably identical.
Yeah.
I had
basically
my first book.
It was basically having a baby.
Yes, exactly. Apparently, it needs to gestate.
Yeah, the thing is it's the same contract, and when they take things out because your agent has negotiated, I don't know, more author copies or a slightly higher royalty rate or some other thing,
right?
But okay, so they just do strike throughs on that part of the contract. It's not like they rewrite the whole thing from scratch. But it takes forever. And my very first book, Stop Getting Dumped, was published by Penguin. It was Plume, which is one of their imprints. And the editor was really young and hungry and editor-in-chief, super smart, Trina Keating. I think I've talked about her before. She crashed the book, which basically means, have you ever had that happen? Crash?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so basically means that they published the book as fast as they could print it. So from the time they said they wanted to buy the book, not contract, from the time we made like the verbal email agreement, we want to buy this book, to the time it was on shelves in bookstores was 6 weeks. Never happens.
Nuts.
Never. But they did.
Wow.
And on sale in Barnes and Noble for 2 months before I got the contract.
That is
or the first step.
insane.
They're selling it.
Like,
and I have not yet gotten the contract. So
and this is where I start feeling like I know there are unions for us, but really we need like a legitimate union.
Those unions don't do jack.
I know.
I'm sorry. Unions don't do
Unions don't do jack.
Right? Because the unions are generally run by people who benefit from the current system. At least our union.
Yeah, because they come in, like I've gone to these meetings, right? I've gone to these union meetings and they do a good sales pitch and like, we're here to help you and blah, blah, blah. And I come out and ask questions about like, what do you do about health insurance? And what do you do about this? And if I have this issue with my publisher, how can you legally help me? It's like, well, we're here to help you. And I was like, details. Yeah. I need them now.
Specifics. Yeah.
And there's something, you can buy health insurance through the Authors Guild and, but you can't. Yeah, you can, but okay, that's great. Except like when the whole thing happened with like I'm losing the word that I want to say. Basically, where Amazon had kind of set a price for Kindle, and they were paying authors more for ebooks, and the publishers worked with the other distributors to set the price, which lowered the royalties for all of the authors.
Right.
Who were selling on Amazon, which still accounts for 70% of the market, and I think at the time was even higher. And yet the authors organization was on board with that plan, even though it reduced the royalties, and that was not. And like the Justice Department filed a lawsuit, and there was a giant settlement with all of the major publishers. So they don't always necessarily, and sometimes they do have your back, but sometimes they don't. And part of it's because the people who are in charge are people who, like I said, benefit from the current system. So, all right.
Here's the thing to think about: when they are withholding those royalties and begging up contracts, there's one basic reason. It's just like insurance companies and lawyers. All of that money goes into escrow with hundreds of other royalties, and they're making interest on it.
Right.
That's the reason they would back.
That is exactly true. Well, the other thing too that Michelle mentioned was reserve against returns, where you've earned your royalties, you've sold your book, but they're still keeping your money for some indeterminate amount of time.
Yeah, that's the thing. They just won't commit to telling you when they'll make a decision. Like the policy makes sense to me. They might ship like 10,000 copies of a book to Walmart, and then 2 months later, Walmart's going to return like 8,000. Well, then no, the author shouldn't. Those weren't sales,
right?
But like they need to commit to the wording is so vague. Like they just use the word reasonable. It's like by whose definition?
It's like what you said. It's like you have to take a course.
Yeah,
Michelle said that. Like you have to take a course to understand a contract.
Yes.
And that scares the hell out of me because I live abroad, and if I get it's harder. I'm so scared. Your video scared me because
I'm sorry.
No, but not your fault. It's like it's just the reality of everything. If I want to get published, whether in the US or the UK, the industry is just so complicated. Imagine for someone who lives abroad now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some help, and
now you would have a very different situation, because when we're talking about royalties and we're talking about international law, like your situation would be a lot different than what we usually go through here in the US. And keep in mind that some of the things that are legal in this country are not legal in your country, and then they're gonna have to combat that too. Like if you get traditionally published, your contract is gonna be a journey.
The good news, though,
ominous.
Part of your agent's job, part of the reason that they get this money, aside from selling your book, is to explain to you all of those parts of the contract. And if you have a good agent, they can they can certainly tell you these are things they never negotiate on, or these are things that we think they'll negotiate on. And
or they do that nerve-wracking thing where they reject the contract, and you're kind of like, I want that contract. It's like, no, we can get more. It's like, I'm really not like.
I am so the thing with me is I'm such an easy author. I'm very okay. I sound very opinionated and I sound like harsh and oh my god, this chick is depressed. And I know I sound like not easy, but I am actually very chill and very easy. So it's like, dude, I don't even want to go on book tours. I want to stay anonymous. That's all I'm asking for. I don't want anything else. And yeah, and still, it's so scary. It's like I feel like just for being a minority, hashtag publishing paid me. I'm just gonna, I have a disadvantage just because I am all the minorities in one package, and that really scares me a lot.
It sucks, and that's what just really killed me about that hashtag. Because I was like, I've had some rough stuff happen to me, but I also have a crazy amount of privilege. And like, look at how much worse it's been for some of these other authors. Like, it's outrageous. It really is. One of the other ones that really got me in that whole publishing paid me thing was Danielle Clayton. I don't know if you guys know her. I don't know her personally, but I remember when her book, The Bells, it's a big YA fantasy, and it did super well, and it got a huge marketing push. It was with Disney Hyperion, and at the time, that was right when I had sold a series to Disney Hyperion, and I remember going to the offices, and it was just The Bells stuff everywhere. They were so hyped about it, and it was so obvious to me that they were super invested in the series and in breaking her out, and I assumed, and this is so dumb of me, I assumed she got a 6-figure advance. That was just like fact in my head. And then Publishing Paid Me revealed that I think it was like 40 for 2 books.
Yeah.
Which,
wow. 40,000 for 2 books.
Seriously? Yeah. And I mean, a big YA fantasy like that's 6 figures easy. Always, every time. But no, Michelle, it's not. It's for white authors every time.
Right.
Like that was just absolutely
it's just wild to hear for someone like, because I've never been in the big business world at all. Like I've always either, run my own thing or like worked with a really, really small press so even just like learning about advances and hearing it, like this is like so enlightening to me. I apologize for being so ignorant to this previously.
What?
It's
so secretive. It's so secretive.
Yeah. It is so secretive.
And then you've got the authors that they sign on who are competitors for their breadwinners, so they sign them on and then just let them die.
Oh yeah.
They don't promote.
Oh yeah.
They don't promote it. They don't
heard
push
that
it.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Alexa Dawn who made a video.
That's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I cannot.
No.
Oh my god.
No, Alexa didn't do the video until after Jenna Marassi did the video. She just kind of rode that coattail discussion. But yeah, that's the thing that happened.
What video did she do on it?
Jenna Marassi was talking about some of the pros and cons that happen with self-publishing and traditionally publishing. And then, of course, like some of us who are in the industry, when people were like, no, that doesn't happen. That's just a Hollywood thing. We came out and we're like, no, that happens. People sign up.
She talked about them intentionally
about the competitors that the authors that they
I didn't even see that video. Oh god, I have to watch it. I'm finding that to put on my watch list.
Yeah. So VC said yes, an agent really is your best resource with negotiating contracts, or they should be if they're good agents. Maya says that's a great. It really is so true. An agent can be just invaluable, and also like they know what all their other clients are getting. Now the bad news, if you have like not a great agent, then everybody's getting crap.
Yes.
But if you have a good agent, they know what those what their other what their other clients are getting, and they also know what the other they talk to other agents, and so yeah, definitely. Maya says, Dal, if you want to be anonymous, maybe make it part of your brand. An author who went on signings with a cloak or a mask or something that would be so awesome. All right, that could be cool.
Want to get published, so they kind of have this attitude like they'd almost work for free, and you end up doing that if you have that attitude, because even small press, I know a guy that went to a small press and they were going to give him more on the royalties because they didn't pay advances,
and
they head up with all this stuff about how much they loved his book, and they had his book for 5 years, during which time he got two royalty checks, and the total of which was less than $50 for 5 years. Holding on.
Oh my god!
And then you've got like that situation that's going on with Dream Spinner Press.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm lagging.
It's big companies, small companies. If somebody's not you up front, figure you're going to be working for free, and if you get a contract, either speak to somebody who knows what contracts are talking about or go to a contract lawyer. When I got my contract, I wasn't much more than a kid. I didn't know how to read it. And in my small town, there was fortunately, I looked up contract lawyers and there was one practically across the street. I went over there and he just read it over and he explained a lot of the legalese. It was like 15 or 20 minutes. And I said, what do I owe you? And he said, don't worry about it. Shook my hand and I left.
Aww.
Easier than when I walked in.
Wow.
That's really fantastic. Well, Michelle, Eva says, I love the video. I learned so much and I became an even bigger fan of you today.
Thank you, Eva.
That's so sweet.
I
do want to say, so one thing I felt like, because I was like, I had thought about doing a video on this. And then when I saw yours, I'm like, no need, Michelle. But the one area, if I were going to add anything on, was that you did not talk about what a giant pain in the ass it is to get your rights back. Right?
Oh, God. Yeah.
So your book has sold, it's done well, or maybe it's done terribly, but they're not doing anything with it anymore. And the rule is that in your contract is that once they are no longer printing it, so print on demand does not count as being in print, even though right now we have the technology to literally print one book at a time. But that doesn't count. And just having an ebook version does not count as being in print. But if you try, when you try to get your rights back, it is always a fight. It always takes months, and they always have a fabulous reason or 50 fabulous reasons why they can't give you your rights back. And I had this weird.
I think Carrow has. I think Carrow, you have insight in this.
Yeah, definitely.
I think.
As somebody who's quit 2 publishers, yeah. Yeah, no, my first publisher was a complete nightmare. This was 8 little pages, and at first they were being really difficult, and the only reason they gave me my rights back is because I went on Twitter and I just basically started talking about what dirtbags they were. And
Good for you.
And basically sharing insight, and they're like, take your shit, go away.
Right. Yeah, public shaming can certainly help with, well, as we've seen by a lot of movements that have picked up a lot of steam on Twitter, public shaming can definitely get things moving, especially when it's an experience where you have a ton of people having the same experience. So Misha says, my first experience was similar, but even worse. I ended up having to get a lawyer to scare the small publisher I was signed to into giving me the rights back. The funny thing is, so we sold Brazilian rights to a publisher called Editorial Landscape of Stop Getting Dumped, my first book. And they published it. They put the worst cover ever on it. They never paid me my advance. They never paid me a dime of royalties. And I had my agent at the time was Jenny Bent, who was at Trident, who was right? Literally, probably the most powerful lit agency in all of the U.S., at least among the top couple. I mean, they are big.
Fun fact, Jenny Bent was the first agent to ever request a full manuscript from me.
I love
We have a connection there.
I know. I love Jenny. She's not my agent anymore, although we are on excellent terms, because she does more fiction. I was doing both nonfiction and fiction. And I already had a second agent who was doing my film stuff, Brendan Deneen, who just started taking on lit. And so I'm getting like, Brendan's like, hey, you should bring your books over to me just for lit. And Jenny's like not wanting to do, so much nonfiction. And I'm like, okay. So I moved all the way over to Brendan, and now my agent is Stephanie Evans, who was Brendan's boss at the time. And so that's how I ended up there. And I love her.
Misha, that's terrible.
All right.
Misha's comment on the bottom.
Wait, what did she do now? They were, oh my God, I got my right back, so I got in writing, but who owns the company made it look like I'm professional when I demanded my rights back because they were trying to pirate my book.
What?
Wow.
Oh my God.
God.
That's awful. That is awful, awful, awful. Eva says, I absolutely love horrible editorial. The best day.
I think that this is the thing where
I will say the best panel I've ever been on at a conference. The most fun was publishing horror stories. And it was just like 6 editors bitching. It was great.
Oh my god! All right, you guys. Well, I don't want any terrible stream stories, so I figure I think we should pick this back up after this is our topic du jour. So we will be talking about this some more, and I want to hear your stories. First, I want to hear what you guys are working on, because I did not get a lot of updates today. We didn't get a lot of project updates. But if you have questions about traditional publishing. Hold on. CO Savvy says traditional publishing horror stories kind of trigger major anxiety for me since I'm from the Caribbean and it is less than by US and European publishers.
It's crap.
Same, CO Savvy. Well, I'm not in the Caribbean, but you know, you're abroad like me, so I hear you. I hear you.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that you don't necessarily, I'm not saying like conceal it and go like super spy, but it's also not something that you have to advertise. So when you're querying an agent, you don't have to say that you're in the Caribbean. You don't have to say you're anywhere. You can say, you don't have to say I'm
exactly
or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think most people do.
My query letters never say my location. If they are really interested and they want to follow up, then I will tell them. But I mean, I have said it in my channel. I'm in Argentina. I mean, if they want to know, they can look me up. Sure.
Well, you know, the thing about
if they want to know.
Oh, I was just going to say, you've lived so many places and been so many places. I just say you're a globetrotter and just leave it at that.
Exactly.
Right? Globetrotting doll. There we go.
Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, I've been all over the place. If they want to know like the legal stuff, like where I'm from and the laws that apply to me by my passport and that kind of bullshit, then of course, when they are genuinely interested, of course, I'm going to, with a lot of confidentiality, I'm going to like, yeah, I was born in this place and that place and blah 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 blah. But meanwhile, I don't have to reveal where the crap I'm from and where, because genuinely, I don't want any associations with that place. It's just as simple as that. I am an alien. Live with it.
Right.
You don't have to disclose that stuff.
Right.
I don't know. Do you guys know Cody Keplinger? She wrote The Duff and then a bunch of other books.
Oh, I know The Duff. Yeah.
So she was 17 when she wrote The Duff and started querying. And when her agent Joanne called her to offer representation, Cody was like, yeah, thanks. Let me get my mom on the phone because I probably need her permission. And Joanne was like, what? Because she was 17 years old. Like, you never know. Like, agents don't know anything about authors when they make offers.
Well, right. And they want to know sort of who you are as far as writing stuff, but they don't need to know like your parents' names or the name of your parents or where you're living right now. So in fact, they used to always ask you, like, what's your spouse's name? What are your kids' names? And I'm like, I don't want to put that crap in my, like, the world is too small and people are too creepy. You don't want to put that, like, especially your kid's name. Like, are you out of your mind?
No.
So, all right, we are going to go to a 20-minute time where we're going to do some writing now, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk more publishing horror stories. And if you guys have questions, I want to know what they are, and we'll see if we can't give some answers, because we have lots of people on the panel who have been through some stuff. All right, you guys, here we go. We're starting in 3, 2, 1, right. It'd be helpful if I did this thing. Hold on. Oh, ah! Sorry, you guys. Oh, sorry, I'm such a dork. Hold on. Yes.
I was like, what? What happened?
At the end, I'm dying. Oh my god, you guys.
that was the sprint is over alarm. Lisa screaming.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was 10 seconds left and it was 1, so I was trying to be good, but yeah, anyway. So, ta-da, we're back. Sorry for the terrifying alarm at the end of that.
I didn't even hear it.
I'm still.
You don't have the sound on. Only you heard it.
Oh, is that right? Oh, I thought I did. Then let's do something
You
more.
didn't have it.
There. Now it's time to end. So it's been like raining here, and Robert was saying too, he had the same weather. Raining, thunderstorms. I was worried the power was maybe going to go out, but it's also like incredibly sweltering here today in Florida. Yeah, so I'm like now my office has all these windows, which is awesome, except right now where I feel like
warmth. Yeah,
I'm in a greenhouse or like a hot box or something like the CIA uses some terrible thing. All right, you guys, tell us how you did on the sprint, and we are going to pull up some more comments from everybody because I feel like I've neglected our comment section today, and you guys are awesome. All right, here we go. So we're gonna whose mic is muted? Nobody. All right. What did it say? Mute mic, mute mic. Oh, that's so weird. Okay, it had like a thing where it was a StreamYard glitch. Wasn't me. Okay. All right, here we go. Laurel Webb says, Mark Dawson has a relevant story about his first book, which was traditionally published. When it first came out, he went to a bookstore. He couldn't find it. The publisher did the bare minimum for him. That happens a lot.
Wow.
I mean, the reason that people go to a big publisher is because you want your book to be in every bookstore. But and it used to be more true than it is now. Now you're more likely to be in like regional stores. You know, you're not unless your other books sell really well. You might not be modeled for every single Barnes and Noble store. And with the small publishers, they definitely will do more of the regional bookstores sell through, because if they were to put even one of your books in every single bookstore, in every single Barnes and Noble, and they got those returned because there wasn't enough marketing support, that would be just massive.
There's a thing with bookstores and shelf space. You have to keep in mind that bookstores right now are kind of dying.
Yeah.
So when they put something on a shelf, they want to put something on a shelf that's going to actually result in a sale. So they're not really always likely to go and pick up whatever book. And I always hate this question that I get, which is, when can I find your book in Barnes and Noble? And my response is usually when you order it. And if you don't order it, a lot of times it's not going to be there. And that's just the way that the business for bookstores is going right now. It's going to be kind of interesting about what happens in the next few years, because with the beverage bug that's going on right now is that a lot of printing presses have actually moved to print on demand, which is something that independent bookstore or independent authors were doing for the longest time. But now that they're moving towards that model and they don't have to worry about doing the bulk printing cost and all that other stuff and fretting about returns, it's going to change the model a little bit. But how is it going to change the model? I probably wouldn't be able to tell you for at least another 6 months, because if there's one thing that we know about publishing, it's that they take a long time to make up their mind about something. So,
and even longer to do anything about it. Yeah, absolutely true. Devin's here. Snort laughs are coming. Hey, Devin, we're so glad you made it. All right, let's see. BT Brown says that happens a lot. Laurel, debut novels or first with the pubber are often given the least amount of marketing effort. It's really up to the author to hustle, which is just like the indies. So true. I always say this, whether your book came out in a recession or your editor left 10 minutes before your publication date, or publisher started going through financial trouble, whatever the problems are that happened with your book and that publisher, your sales numbers are yours to keep, because 5 years from now, when somebody else is thinking about publishing your book, or a bookstore is looking at carrying your book, they're going to look at those sales numbers, and they're not going to care whether there was a recession happening that week or that month or that year, or whether your agent just let or editor left. They are going to look at your sales numbers and see what those are and decide from there. So all that hustling, absolutely, it's great if your publisher will back you up. And I've had great experiences and not great experiences. And honestly, it's a lot of times it's like based on, you know, how powerful your editor is and how much they're willing to go to town for your book. My two best.
One of the things that they like to do in publishing as well is like usually when like they release like a book, they'll like focus on like a group of authors, and then they tell like that little group of authors like you all need to promote each other. And I'm kind of like, you know, I could do that with my friends.
Right.
Yeah,
it's right.
Yeah.
That's it. And a lot of publisher, and certainly I don't want to lump every small publisher in here, because there are plenty of small publishers that are doing good things, that do care about promoting their authors' works. And I don't like, it's not like publishing is all bad. Nothing is all bad, but there are some really good small publishers that do things in a small way and do things well. And interestingly enough, so I'm thinking of several, and I'm not going to name any names, although maybe I should. I know several publishers started by authors, and they do a good job. And I think there's part of it is like, you know what you want, you know how you want to be treated, and you want to treat other people in the same way. Right. So I think that you have to do your due diligence if you're thinking about signing with a publisher. And certainly, you know, especially for your first book, for a lot of people, it's a trade-off they're willing to take. I mean, certainly there is, you know, there are benefits to being with a big publisher. Although once you've been with them for a while, it's harder to remember sometimes what they are. Okay, so Michelle's laughing. All right.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it is. All right, so did we do this one right? Okay, we did do that.
We talked about SEO, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see. All right, Laura, I'm going to go back to this stream. So Laurel says, BC Brown, that's the impression I've gotten from a lot of places. Oh, this is where she's talking about union meetings being a joke. I just do my own marketing, as nervous as that makes me. I don't know. There's something, yes, it's nerve-wracking to think if getting the word out there for my book is terrifying, but it's also empowering that your future is in your own control.
Yeah. And it's just really moving that way anyway. Like I'm sure you guys have heard me harp on this a lot. Like so publishing is really good at copying what independent authors are doing because that it's working for them. And so they try to implement that, which is why you see that a lot of publishers are pushing the outbound marketing onto their authors where before they would handle a little bit of it. But when they push that responsibility onto them, they're like, well, you have to be accountable for your sales and your brand, and you have to be pulling your weight and stuff like that. And they don't care if you're an introvert. They don't care if you have horrible people skills. They're just going to tell you to figure it out, because if the independent authors can do it, you should be able to do it too. And the idea that your publisher is going to handle like all of the marketing for you and make your book tours and everything else like that, that's a fantasy that's only in books now. That doesn't exist.
Right?
That doesn't exist.
Yeah, even if they pay for your book tour or pay for part of your book tour, you're still going to have to do everything to get all of that set up. I mean, you still have to do, no matter how you slice it, you are doing a lot of the work. That's just how it goes. And or most of the work or all of the work. You know, it really depends. But generally, you know, whether it's 98.2% or 99.1 or 100.0, you're doing it, and it's your career. So nobody's going to be more invested in it than that. But you have to think about the idea of like, how much is it worth it to me to be published by a traditional publisher? If I'm giving them a big chunk of my money, they're keeping it for a really long time, and I'm doing a lot of the work to promote, like how worth it is it? And for Yeah.
That was my horror story with 8 little pages, because they gave me like a list of things that they wanted me to do, and I was just kind of sitting here. It's like, so let me get this straight. I'm getting 40% of my profits. I'm doing 90% of the work. What the fuck are you doing for me?
Yeah.
Like, like I'm really not like the author that you want to have on your team, because I'm going to ask questions that you don't want to answer. And if you don't have a satisfying response, then I'm going to switch from this face into like a big capital B face, and we'll throw a book at you.
Yeah.
But we need more authors like you, Carrow. That's something that we all should be doing. I mean, I do that, and I feel like
no, that's not what we need. We do not need authors like me. I am the byproduct of a system that doesn't work.
I disagree.
Let me finish. What we need is a publishing system to actually evolve into a model that works. Right now, we are looking at fossils that don't make any sense anymore, working on a system that is completely broken, like a lot of other systems that are broken. And what they're trying to do right now is milk this as far as they can until they have to be forced to change. And that's probably going to be another 10 years.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is make more publishers that are more author focused, that are willing to provide more for authors, because authors can't write if they have to stress about feeding themselves. Like,
right. That's exactly
true.
That's exactly right. And that's the thing is that when you have those houses that really are author focused, or at least that take more of a partnership approach, where it's a more even-handed approach, then both sides can benefit. But if you have, if the writers are just like writer monkeys, and we're just cranking out content, and they're reaping all the benefits, and all that money that they're making is going to pay, somebody some ungodly sum of money, it's not us, right?
Wow.
PR love, but it's not us. So yeah, I mean, you have to think about it. All right, Shelby says it's scary, but I'm glad you guys are talking about this. Good, I'm glad. Maya, I'm sorry about the scary part, but it's good to go in with your eyes open. Maya says, I'm not even going to think about this until I'm ready to traditionally publish. It's making me anxious.
I understand.
It is.
By that time your day comes.
Yeah, I think, and I will say, like, I've had many great publishing experiences also, but again, they were generally tied to an editor who had some power at the house, and who was really passionate about my work. Mm-hmm. And the other ones in between, where you feel like, even at the same house, even at the same imprint, where you go from feeling like they want the best for you, you want the best for the book, and you're working together, and that's awesome, and you're doing all these great things, and they care about you, to, a year later, and you feel like the only good author is a dead author. How many times have you heard that? Yeah. And terrible experience. That is a terrible, terrible feeling to have. Like that you're just an inconvenience to them.
And that goes too. I mean, they're either your best friend and a fan, or they can really do you damage if they decide they don't like you. But I think getting back to that, aside from publishing and finding a better path, we need to find a better path to marketing. And that really depends on all, because if we don't get the word out, for example, if I have 1,000 subscribers, and in the marketing business, 10% of that is considered a win, that's 100 sales. We can't go by what we have here on this little slice of authortube. And getting back to branding, that's why we need to branch out. Because here on authortube, there's no way that we're going to market ourselves here and make any kind of sales.
It's a big team effort. Like, not to be like self-promoting myself, but like this Friday, I'm actually like starting a series of what I call professionalism, because there's just certain things I hear people say, and I'm kind of like, no, that's not actually how that works. And this first Friday video actually has to do with networking, and networking when it comes to making sales, making connections, and all that other stuff. That's really important. And you're going to find when you're trying to market yourself that you have to be personable. You have to have good communication skills. And a lot of times people are going to make a sale because somebody has like a connection to you, or a connection to the person that they're talking to. So like the most sales that I make from this book Sometimes when I could go out and actually like physically talk to people, like, yeah, I was making sales because, you know, I can turn on the camera. I really can. But the most sales I actually make from this book are from my friend who's a professional cosplayer. And while she's standing in line to go to panels and stuff like that, she talks about my books. And I can always tell when she's doing it because I'll look at the thing. I'm like, I have 5 sales today. Why do I have 5 sales? I'm like, what are you doing right now? She's like, I'm cosplaying as so-and-so from this video game. And I'm like, okay, well, there you go.
That is completely awesome. So Laurel's made a comment here that I want to talk about. She said, that's true. I will never have the potential marketing reach of a publishing company. That is not true.
That's a lie. That is a lie.
That is a lie. Right.
From them.
It is not true because most of the PR department, so first of all, most publishers, big 6 houses, most of their publicity departments are people who are recently out of college who do, right? So you have a couple people right the head of the PR department, or maybe, you know, somebody who's like second in command or whatever. But most of the people that will actually work on a book are people who are fresh out of college, and they are doing what we like to call in the business the spray and pray, which means they send your book out to a bunch of media contacts and they never follow up. And if the
I hate that.
If the person it's a huge waste of art. So that's what they do. And the thing is the follow-up is the most important part of publicity. As a person who has done 3,000 interviews, I can tell you, just following up and saying, hey, did you get the book? Or, hey, I wanted to talk to you about, you know, the segment or whatever. Just following up and having them dig through the giant pile of crap on their desk that is on every reviewer's desk. And go, oh, yeah, this looked interesting. I want to look at that. Just that is worth its weight in gold.
And if you remember something that you talked to them about, that's going to stick to them too. Like there's a big lady that's part of the Desert Rose chapter out here, which is part of the RWA chapter for Arizona. And I had a chat with her, and I sent her a follow-up email literally the same day. Like, I didn't fuck around. And so I sent her a follow-up email saying, hey, I met you at the conference, and you and I talked about this, and I'm looking forward to, like, engaging with you more. And she always remembers me when I show up to these things. Like, it's that easy.
It really is that easy. You just have to reach out and make those contacts, and it's comfortable. I have a video about this.
I am not a people's person. Like when I messaged you this morning, I was like, but maybe Lisa is really busy. Maybe the panel is full, and maybe. And I was like, fuck it, just send her a message.
That's all it is. You've just proven my point. You sent just fucking send a message, right? And I said, sure, doll, here's the link. And here you are on the live stream today. And that is exactly how it works. It's the squeaky wheel theory. You reach out. You don't even have to say anything. Just like reach out. Just reach out. I do have an interview. One of my favorite reviewers who has been in this for a long time. She reviewed for Library Journal and for Romantic Times back when that was a thing. It used to be a really powerful thing. It doesn't exist anymore. And a bunch of other publications said that she would come on and do an interview. You guys have to tell me if you want it to be a live stream where we can ask her questions or some other format. But she promises to spill all secrets of reviewers.
Oh, you gotta make that live.
You think? Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Make it live. Yes.
In time. So anyway, she's awesome. We'll do it. Okay, we'll do it as a live stream. Okay, so going on, we have a bunch of new comments, and I want to. Okay, so Maya says, "Oh my God, a girl PM'd me with a question on publishing. She almost got scammed out of $5,000. Not a real publisher.
That sounds like a book that you and I may have talked about, Tamara's writing workshop thing, where they kept saying go to vanity publishers, and you and I were like, no, you do not go to vanity publishers.
No.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
that was a great live stream.
Go ahead, Doll. Sorry.
That was a great live stream. I was just going to say that if you haven't checked that live stream with Tamara Woods at it wasn't the most recent writers workshop, right? Okay, so that so that was a great stream. I was there. I was so there for the roast. Thank you for that.
Good. Okay, so Kat says this is very interesting, an educational conversation. Note I got the link done. We'll post momentarily. All right. She said she's got it for the day of the 26th. You can stay on her stream, go to the other channels as well. If that happens, we'll make a playlist. She sent it. And then she said, and then BC is running a 4-hour sprint on the same day. So I'll post to all that stuff. So you guys have it. I did think it was funny because Kat was like, sorry, Lisa, I'm using your stream to make plans. And BC jumped in and said, Lisa loves it when we hatch in her stream chats. And that is true, right? How many great ideas have come out of this stream? Tons.
A lot.
Tons, you guys. All right, here we go. Let's see. Yay. LOL for the spray and pray. That gives me hope. Really, seriously, there is nothing that that they do that you cannot do. And often, because you care about your book deeply, and yours is one of a gazillion that they have to manage, you can do a better job than they can. And actually, I prove that, right? I've done a ton of media. And when I first started doing it, it felt like I was giving away part of my soul. And now I could, yeah, anyway.
I am afraid when it comes to marketing, I am afraid, like, it's so easy for me to talk about other people. I do that all the time. And then it's like, yeah, sorry about that. I can get annoying sometimes, but I prefer to talk about other people. And then I start, like, when it's time to talk about my own things, because I have a couple of things. I have a short story published. I have my poems that are self-published on my channel. I never talk about that because I am afraid of repeating myself. So that's like, I already said that in the other video, but like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I said it once and I think that's enough. No, you have to repeat yourself and you have to constantly market yourself. And that's something I still have to overcome because I'm just afraid of, over repeating myself and becoming annoying. And therefore
I think we all have that fear. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you at all. But yeah, like, I am always afraid that I'm coming off as obnoxious when I'm promoting my own books, even if I haven't done it in like months. But I never judge other authors for promoting their books because, like, we got to do it. And I want to know. I want to know when my friends have, successes. So, like, why do I feel this way? I don't know.
Right. I know. Well, I think we all have that feeling. I do. I definitely have it. And you don't want to be that author that's constantly promoting their own stuff, right? Everybody hates that. And I will say, Doll, you have built up so much goodwill because you're so passionate about other people's work that when you have something that you want to promote, other people will step up and help you to promote it. And I think it's, like, certainly it's important to say, hey, I have a new book coming out. It's going to be on sale, Thursday, blah, blah, blah. But it's also really powerful to let other people help you to do that. So, and if we're constantly...
Like this book that you wrote, Lisa? That's really good and that other people should read it?
Thank you. And I'm all purple again. Thank you, Carrow. You're so sweet. So, yeah, that's the thing is I think if we as authors are talking about work that we like, that helps all of us. It helps all of us. But you got to get over this idea. Sorry, about not talking about your own stuff. Speak, Robert.
That's part of network. As far as small press being bad, they can be, but I don't know about you guys, but the people that I've seen get ripped off are either from the really small fly-by-nighters or the really big companies.
Yeah.
You have to find somebody that's not too small, but not too big maybe to start. And short stories are a great way because there are magazines out there. They may pay little or nothing, but it gives you publishing credits. And they're looking for good writers. And if you can actually write, you can develop somewhat of a following and make friends with people through that. And you can get Writer's Digest and Poets and Writers. There's tons of contests. If you win a contest, even if they pay you $25 for first prize, you're now a prize-winning author. There's all sorts of little things that you can do to build yourself up that will help to sell your book when it comes out.
That's true. That exposure is a great thing. That said,
something like
a ton of free stuff. Like, that's a whole other topic, right?
Something that's kind of weird and off topic, but like I just did that with fellow musician who is like, he makes background music so you can put it on your videos totally for free, no copyright, no nothing.
Love
You
it.
just have to like credit him. You know that guy. I am always talking about that guy. Well, that he made a custom track, like it was especially made for one of my poems, because I had a poem. So there's long story short, I had a poem ready, but I couldn't find a track that I was like, oh, this is it. And so I showed him the poem, and he's like, don't fret, I'm gonna make a track just for you. And so he, this time around, instead of uploading it into my channel, he uploaded it into his. So all his audience has heard my narration of a poem now, and it's on my playlist and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's a sort of collaboration, but it's like branching out, getting more exposure. It's good for both of us, blah blah blah. But like it's a poem, so it's like I'm trying to find alternatives. So just to say, hey, I have a couple of things out. So it's like I'm not completely new anymore.
Exactly. I think that's the same point.
I just want to redirect the conversation real quick, because CEO asked a question like forever ago that we never answered. And the question was, I've heard traditional publishing horror stories where the author has zero rights or control over their contract and their book was published under another person. How can I prevent such a tragedy? I don't.
A literary agent?
I don't hear about that very often.
Yeah, me neither.
But if you have your work copyrighted under your name, which you should always do as a safeguard, then if you find that somebody's gone ahead and taken your work, you can sue them for like $500,000.
And you should.
And you should.
And you should.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like the only time that I ever hear about like where there's a contract and they publish your work under someone else's name is obviously a ghostwriting contract or a book packaging firm where you'll do and it's a work for hire, maybe with royalties, and they'll put your book out under some pen name. And for a while, there were a lot of books that were published that way. Not so many anymore, but generally, you know about that ahead of time. If someone has published your work without your name on it, then
you can hunt them down.
You can hunt them down. That's right. That is a really good.
You can sue them, and you should.
Yeah.
I have a spreadsheet for that.
Yeah, she does. So Shelby says, that's me, doll. I really have to push myself to do that kind of stuff. And Kat also said, I feel that, doll. I always feel like I'm bothering people when I message them.
That's the feeling.
Yep.
I'm bothering everybody. Yes, that's the feeling. I have to fight it every single day. It's a thing.
It is something. So let me say this. In the beginning, it's hard to do that. And eventually it's like when you teach little kids to say that they're sorry, give them lots of practice when they're little, and then they're not going to be so uncomfortable when they're older. And with marketing, you have to get out there, and it's uncomfortable now, but eventually it won't be so uncomfortable. And the more you do it, the more success you have. And then it feels less and less like a giant imposition. So, doll, for example, this morning when you messaged me, I was glad to hear from you. I thought, oh, it'd be nice to have doll on the stream again. And that was it. Like, there was no like, oh, I'm too busy for doll. I'm bothering me. I was just happy to hear from you. And I thought, yeah, we've got an extra space today. Let's put doll on the stream. This should be a fun conversation today.
Is it true that StreamYard is now allowing 10 people on a stream?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. That's good.
Yeah. Although I'm almost afraid because I feel like when you have even 6, like some people aren't getting to talk as much. So I worry about that. Or getting like less comments in the stream. So I want to just go through a couple comments. Spence says, the authorpreneur stream was gold. I'm supposed to be sending Savvy my copy. Life has been nuts. Haven't forgotten. Eva says,
thank you so much. I'm so excited to read that. After watching that stream, I was like, I absolutely, even though this book sounds awful, I need to read it just to see just how awful.
Right?
Like a train wreck you can't look away from.
So I think this was in relation to Kat saying she was worried about like using our stream to plan stuff. And Eva says Wordstock, which you should know, Kat, Eva came up with the name Wordstock right in this stream. Right? Wordstock was born here. And Eva is its mommy. Wait, I'm not going to go there. Hold on. We're just going to pretend like I didn't go that way.
We're going in a weird place.
Yeah, sorry. Rewind. Okay. The nerd, Robert. He says, my newest middle grade fiction was born from a mutant brainchild developed in one of Tamara's streams. It's going to be a 5-book series. See?
Nice.
Like, not
Things
really
are
all marketing
born.
for people.
Things are born in sprints. Things are born in live streams. You know.
I love the idea of thinking of us as like this sort of like creativity authortube incubator. I love that concept. Love, 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 love.
The imagery from that just reminds me of Aliens.
It's a miniature model of what we could be if everyone networked. The people that put themselves on a pedestal or don't want to get involved. Either way, whether you're high or low on that chain, you're still on your own. Because unless you're making the A-list, you're on your own.
Yeah, that's the truth. So BC says, Doll, not everyone saw, quote, that other video. This is why we must repeat stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
He says, yes, me too. It doesn't help that I'm really obnoxious. Oh, don't you say that. All right, here we go. Laurel says, people can spot a faker in seconds. But as long as you're being genuine, it's okay to self-promote. Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, certainly there are people that we see do it poorly. And I think if you're mostly about other people and occasionally about your work, then, then I think that's good. Sorry, I laughed right in the middle of that because I just read BC's next comment where she said, you mean about how Carrow Brown's book, Queen of Sword and Silence, is amazing and everyone should read
I love that book. I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much that I bought it twice.
I know.
That's amazing. I don't think I've ever bought a book twice.
I bought it when it first came out with the first cover and stuff, and then when it got relaunched, I was like, you know what? I love it so much, I just want it twice.
Yeah. Yeah. So Eva says,
reminding me, I need to buy all of your books. I need to buy Carrow's book. Lisa and Michelle both have like collectively like 25 books between.
You definitely don't need to buy all.
You can just read one.
Buy this book first. Buy this book first.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. I've got too many people. Wait, buy this one first. Oh,
Eva, get out of my way. Eva, you should buy this book first.
Tamara, okay.
Tamara's book. Okay, wait, no, I have so many books. Guys, I'm going on Amazon as we speak.
Awesome. All right, that's good. Oop, I just took you off. I didn't mean to do that. All right. Oh, did I move you? Oh, that's weird. You know, you get rearranged.
I'm in the
I don't even know what's happening anymore. There, look. Okay, now we're back to normal. All right, you guys. So Eva says those who don't like praise or promotion by others, someone else's opinion is their own. Get over it. We got to keep singing. We're gonna keep singing. Ah, that's so sweet.
You're done. Lay down.
BC had a good point. I think you should still diversify your niche, Doll, by shouting out other authors and artists, not necessarily reviews, but shout out videos. That's a good idea for her.
Yep. That's my shout out.
You got to be obnoxiously positive and excited to talk about my own stuff. Same as Doll. I get super excited about other books, but when it comes to time to explain or mention mine, I get shy.
Yep.
We should do a video. We need to do like a coaching video about that. There are ways to talk about your book, right?
Because, yeah, there's right and wrong ways to like do like self-promotion and promotion for other people. Like I always like when people first start, they get like really anxious about it, and like we'll be having a conversation about something else and they'll just like throw in the sales pitch. It's like, I need you to focus because we are like not talking about that. And if the moment you come off as a sleazy salesperson, nobody's going to want to buy your stuff.
Right.
Like,
people just absolutely. All right. Eve says, I feel like that's a hard thing for so many of us. So true. We constantly second guess ourselves as writers, and promoting our own stuff feels awkward.
Yeah.
Yes. Com's axiom that someone needs to see or hear about a thing 7 times. That's true. You need to hear or see a thing 7 times before someone takes the action that you want them to. So one time the video last week is not going to cut it.
Yeah.
Got to talk about it. Right. Exactly. All right.
That's why it's really expensive.
What was that? Say that again, Carrow.
I said that's why ads are expensive, because you throw out one wave of it and you hope you'll get something, but you have to keep doing it several times before you can actually see some kind of lucrative income. And a lot of times you're just breaking even.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Misha, so Eve says, Misha, yes, my mom was taught that when she went to school for marketing. I learned it in a business class just 2 years ago. 7 seems to be the magic number. He's laughing because Carol said, I have a spreadsheet for that. Darling writing, this is based on what was before, what we talked about before, filing for copyright. Super important. And you always have the poor man's copyright, where you basically stuff your manuscript into a big envelope and mail it to yourself and don't open it.
Yeah.
Okay. Licensing, fraction. Oh, okay. So this is a really big problem with like Harlequin and a lot of the like romance mass market publishers, where that has been a problem. That's like a whole other stream, but Misha, we should totally get into that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Joanne,
There's only 10 minutes left.
All right. Okay, you guys. Wait, hold on. Let's see. Yes, me too. I'll use this stream to bother some people. Incidentally, 2 of them are okay. All right, you guys, what do you think? Should we do one more sprint so at least we can be productive? Because
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. Oh, what have I done? Hold on, let me get my screen back up. All right, this is what we're going to do.
Sprint.
Sorry, we're going to run. Doll, is this going to kill you if we do this? I know you got to get to your sprint right after. You have like 50 minutes.
No, I have 1 hour.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm very I wanted to be here, so let's do this.
All right, let's do it. Okay, you guys, we're gonna get started with our writing. Everybody, get your fingers ready. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, sprint. right. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you all had a really productive last stream. All right. Yay.
Yeah.
So we had a couple people who popped in at the end. Adega Outlet says, hi, just finished 2 chapters today. Woohoo. Busy, busy. Nice work.
That's awesome.
And Sid just woke up. Sorry, I missed the sprint. No problem.
Understandable.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we had a little chat happened after I blabbed on about the poor man's copyright. And I'm wondering if this is like a perspective issue. So I had said right before we left that that as far as copyright, like you could always do the poor man's copyright, which is basically you put your stuff in an envelope and leave it sealed, mail it to yourself, and then you have that, you know, some proof. And who was it? Wait. Megan McCarthy said, basically, you are batshit crazy. She said, no. That doesn't work as a poor man's copyright. And so I said, school me afterwards. And I haven't seen if she sent me something, but I hope. And then Story Detective popped in and said, the poor man's copyright can work, but not the same impact as filing with the Copyright Office if you have to fight it. Legal documents can't be questioned. A sealed envelope can be faked. And it hurt. And then I went on like I actually just tried to send 1 comment, but it made it like 4. And what I was wondering is if, so I was told a long time ago by an entertainment lawyer that the second you put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard, your work is copyrighted. That the process of filing with the Copyright Office is, again, just to prove that you did it on a certain date. So, and the poor man's copyright has been around for a long time. But what I was saying is I wondered if my perspective on not copyrighting my work is because I have a traditional publishing background. Because they used to really get ticked off if you had copyrighted your stuff before they did. And second, did I say A? Second, because they wanted to make sure it was done right, so that if they went to court, that it would not be challengeable because you're not an attorney and you're filing for copyright. Not that it's that complicated as I recollect, but they just want to make sure, you know, they have a big investment in that. They want to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And then it occurred to me that maybe that the reason that this, because I'm all about protecting my work, maybe that the reason that this has been my perspective is because coming from traditional publishing, I mostly sell my books before they're written. Right?
Yeah.
Michelle, do you copyright your stuff, or do you sell it and they copyright?
No, they copyright it.
Yeah, and then BC Brown popped in also. Hold on, who is also traditionally published, and said same thing. She said she's been guilty of the poor man's copyright. And then I said, if I did have to prove that I had written something, I do have a really significant digital trail, because I always am constantly emailing drafts to myself because I'm paranoid of losing things. And so even though I have a backup and a backup, I one time lost a chunk of work that I still feel like I still have not been able to recover from. And I now obsessively email myself work. Plus I'm sending it to my agent. And again, it's usually sold before I actually write it. And so there's that. BC Brown says, I email myself drafts of my books as well. I hadn't thought about that also being proof of work, but it really is.
So no details are given, but I'm like kind of in a conversation with somebody who likes to change the narrative. And so it got to the point where it's like, you and I can only correspond in email at this point. And their response is like, why? It's like, because when I take you to court, email is actually a viable means of communication, and I'm just not screwing around with you anymore. And that completely changed the narrative of how they spoke to me. But in the eyes of the law, email is seen as a legit thing to be used as proof. So, yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
But that said, if I were indie publishing, I would be all over that. Absolutely register your stuff, because if you don't, nobody else is going to. And if you do have to go to court, you want that copyright registered. So
and you'll run in, and even if you are traditionally published, you're still going to run into situations where people try to steal your shit. Excuse my language. Like about this time last year, there was a chick from Brazil who basically made what I like to call the Frankenstein novels, and basically that was referred to as the copy-paste crisis. And what she was doing is she took the work of 50 authors, like she just kind of like took pages, like not paragraphs, not sentences, pages. She took pages of people's book and chunked them together, and then tried to pay ghostwriters to fill in the gaps and make it work.
And Chris.
Yep. And she took stuff from Courtney Milan. She took stuff from Nora Roberts. Like, you don't really screw around with Nora Roberts because all the other people were like small authors who couldn't afford international lawyers because, like I said, she was in Brazil. Nora Roberts could. And do you think Nora Roberts took this lady to court? Yeah, right, she did.
Yeah. Well, and the beautiful thing, it really was like Romance Land, like all these romance readers that spotted this and just jumped on it. And the crazy thing is
hours of research, thousands of hours. Like they went to all the books, they found the passages of the books and the authors that was taken, and they were just basically providing all this information.
Yeah.
It was really scary to watch.
Yeah, it was insane. It was like crazy. But she, as I recall, she was nominated that year for a Rita Award for a book that had big chunks of plagiarized material, which is like.
And one thing that drove me
nuts. This is making. Go ahead. Sorry.
So the one thing that kind of drove me like absolutely crazy is that Nora Roberts, she did a blog post about the situation because she was going to keep people updated. But in one of the blog posts, she wrote that this isn't the first time that she'd been plagiarized, and she had even been plagiarized by a friend who was also traditionally published, and she had the ability to like go and sue this lady, but they called and cried on the phone, and she said, "Okay, you know what? Don't worry about it." And she did it again. Same lady plagiarized Nora Roberts twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Nora, be better friends.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Yeah. No, I was wondering, like, these people who give awards, like, how don't they realize this? Like, what is the criteria to give awards? If this woman made a Frankenstein book and she got an award.
Well, she
like a nomination. Seriously, who are the people behind that?
She was not the Romance Writers of America, the world's largest romance writing union membership group. What am I trying to say? Anyway. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a big. She did withdraw it, obviously, and she did do, of course, the honorable thing, which is blame the Fiverr writers. She had paid.
And then people were coming after these ghostwriters, like, you should have known better. I'm sorry. Do you expect every ghostwriter to read every 50+ books that she ripped off and just be able to be like, oh, I know this passage from so and so on this page, and it was written like this. Let me pull it. No, they're human. Oh my God.
No, I thought Misha's point was, I hope one day I have a legion of fans like that who would do all that to help the writers. Me too, Misha. I hope you have them. They're coming, baby. They're coming.
You do not mess with the romance crowd.
Yeah.
No. Robert was about to say something. We got excited again. I'm sorry, Robert.
I was just saying, if it was a lot of smaller authors, then it would be harder to spot, even for the romance guild. So unless they're reading all of those people.
Yeah. It is really interesting, though, that, I mean, I love the fact that it was readers that brought this up and alerted one author who then read a bunch of
Courtney. Yeah. Right. You don't screw Courtney on Twitter. Courtney will start some freaking fires. Like,
yeah. Saw her stuff had been plagiarized. Like, she went because a reader said, hey, your stuff's been plagiarized. She went to go read it and then noticed somebody else's stuff had been plagiarized. It's bad. Joanne Injahen said, pretty common that people rip off web fiction and paste them into Kindle Unlimited books. There's nothing we can do if we can't find the book. You can just search for passages of text, especially things that are popular, that like your readers are highlighting or they comment on. I have found stuff that way, like stuff where it's a very uniquely least kind of sentence. and then you find it. I haven't found it in other books, but I've certainly found my stuff being ripped off, as you know, as you guys know.
I don't know why people do that, because everybody picks up on what your writing style is. Like, even if you change like the point of view that you're writing with, you still have a distinct style that you write. So when it completely changes, people are going to ask questions. Like,
they are, unless they're just, the Rita thing was crazy, but she was I want to say she was like a USA Today best-selling author or something, and so she had some, but who knows? I think they went back and.
I'm just saying, I can find those graphics and put them on my Twitter banner too.
Yeah, that's true.
Right now, hold on.
Hold on, everybody. Carol's about to. All right. So this has been, I think, an awesome stream. I hope you guys were super productive. Although, hold on, CO Savvy said something I thought was hilarious, which was basically, hold on, can I find it? Oh, I hate the comments.
Oh, StreamYard.
So many comments.
Oh, StreamYard.
I hate the StreamYard. Okay. So CO Savvy says, this stream was qualitative productive. The sprints are like commercials. I'm going to take that as a compliment, I hope. But if it was too much talking, not enough sprinting, my apologies to all of you. So anyway, if you want to be super productive, you should go to DAL Stream, which happens in 40 minutes. So we should probably wrap up pretty quickly so Doll has a chance to eat lunch, or we all have a chance to eat lunch, and Doll has a chance to prepare. So be sure to head over to Doll Stream at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's it's in 36 minutes because the clock just changed. And of course, Abby has her awesome sleepover stream tonight that happens at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll awesome, great crew on there. Always a ton of fun. Camping theme tonight. So there's that. So I know, right? So we went really late today. So if we could all, I don't want to short you guys because you're all so awesome. Can we just run around, do a quick outro, introduce yourself, and plug your channel before we hit it? Starting with Doll. We'll start with Doll this time.
Okay, thank you very much for having me here today. Maybe I will not a full-on regular, but be here sometimes if I can make it in the morning. So thank you guys. I'm DAL CECIL RUNO, the partially blind alien who's a known voices author, aka the ace from space, and I like to write science fiction, working on a sci-fi novel that I just queried yesterday, and my channel has a couple of poetry. I have a short story that's published, and I'm having a brand expansion where I talk about writing and all the unseen and intangible things. So it's weird. My channel is just weird, and it's getting weirder. So if you want to check that out, you know where to find me.
Weird is good.
Awesome. Weird is good. Michelle, tell us all about you.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a middle grade and young adult author, and my channel is about writing and publishing. And thank you guys so much, and especially thank you to Lisa for talking about my video today. I'm like honestly overwhelmed with all the comments. It's the most successful video I've had yet on my channel. So that means a lot to me considering what it's about. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this discussion.
Aww. Detective, story detective. Detective, story detective.
That's my channel, story detective. Be clear on that. Yes, I've been a writer and an artist. I've been, let's see, should I count myself? I've been published by Marvel Comics, DC Comics, Dark Horse Comics, Image Comics, Harris Publishing, a lot of people. And basically I analyze all things stories from a visual standpoint, from a writer's perspective and an artist's perspective. I also do tech reviews.
And you're here every week. We have such a great group. Savvy, tell us about your channel.
What's up, my fellow small business supporters? I'm Savvy from SAVY Writes Books. I'm a small business owner and an author, and on my channel we talk about writer life, the business side of writing, being a small business owner, and we are very dramatic, roasting some business scammers. So if you like business scammer drama and exposed videos, then come on over tonight at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. We have the AuthorTube Sleepover Writing Sprints live stream, so I'm excited to see y'all then.
Yay! Carrow Brown.
Hi, my name's Carrow Brown. I wrote this book. You can buy it on Amazon. I have a channel here on YouTube where I post videos on Fridays and I do live streams on Tuesdays, and that's me.
And Carol loves spreadsheets, and you should definitely read the book. It is totally awesome. There happens to be a link to it in the description below, just in case anybody was wondering. Hi, I'm Lisa Bailey. I'm a traditionally published author, as you may have learned from our massive discussion today. And here on my channel, I give writing and publishing advice if you want to write a book and get it published. I hope you will check it out. I am here to help. All right, guys, you are awesome. Thank you so much to everybody who was in the chat today. DC Brown's going to take us out with Weird is Good.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Good to be a creative, isn't it, everybody? All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here today. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, friends.
Take care.